Connecticut has launched a petition to change the policy on transgender team participation in athletic competitions after transgender students dominated a girls' track and field event.
The petition saying, quote, the current Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference rules on transgenders' eligibility are obsolete and compromise the fairness of the sports.
Here with more is the parent who started that petition, Bianca Stanescu, who is the mother of Selina Soule, a member of the Glastonbury girls track team. Good morning. We're just sort of trying to lay this out. Why are transgender students running in your daughter's competition?
Currently in Connecticut, under the CIAC rule, which is the Connecticut Interscholastic Association, the gender policy is that they will match the gender identity listed with that athlete's school. And that has raised some concern recently because schools are obligated under Title IX to change the athlete's gender identity without any medical records or any other requirements. A form needs to be filled out and needs to be changed in the school portal, and that athlete will now have to go into that new gender identity according to CIAC. And that has created an uneven playing field recently, since it's known biologically male athletes versus female athletes are different.
Okay, so Bianca, I know your daughter is on this track team, and there are two transgender students on the team with her, and I understand they're winning number 1 and number 2 consistently. So what would you like to see different? How can it be fair? How can the playing field be fair so that everyone still gets to compete?
After doing a lot of research, I realized that the current CIAC rule is actually unfair to both transgender athletes, if we look at it from an overall perspective, as well as the cisgender with female athletes. And what that really means is that you have a biological male competing a biological female. And once again, there is that physical superiority. At the same time, if you have maybe another transgender male, which is from female to male, now they're forced into a category of competing against male, and they probably will not have a possibility to compete in basketball or volleyball.
Right. Bianca, just so we can put up on the screen to be clear, from the CIAC, we have this quote about their policy. They say the school district shall determine a student's eligibility to participate in a CIAC gender-specific sports team based on the gender identification of that student in current school records and daily life activities in the school and community. In the case of your daughter, she came in 6th place. Is she upset by this?
Yes, and it's not so much about upset because she came in the 6th place. It feels to her, as it is to most of us, that it's an unfair playing field. And once again, if she would have been in the 7th place, she would have never had the chance to advance, and the places would have been taken by biological male.
All right. Well, Bianca, thank you so much. Please keep us.
In Connecticut, some parents and students are fighting to change a policy that allows transgender athletes to compete as the gender they identify with. Petitions are circulating in Plainville and Glastonbury after 2 trans girls swept the competition at the state track and field championships. Some parents feel the girls had an unfair advantage biologically. The Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference says the policy to allow them to compete on the girls' track team directly aligns with state law.
You have certain people that believe that, you know, men are stronger and faster. Some females will feel a particular type of way about it.
I think she should be able to run in a race because she can use the ladies' room. She can wear skirts. Why not run and play sports and stay active?
Sophomore Andraya Yearwood says she's been extremely grateful for the opportunity to run track for her high school and be treated as the person she has always identified as.
Track stars who took first and second place at the Connecticut State Championships now finding themselves at the center of a controversy.
Both young women are transgender and competed on the girls' team. That's not sitting well with some parents and student athletes, though. They've started a petition to change a rule.
News 8's Amy Hudak live in News 8 Control with reaction to this story tonight. Amy.
The Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference, the CIAC, says that athletes can choose to compete for the sport in which they gender identify with. But some are saying this creates an unfair advantage, especially when it comes to athletics.
I had like these pink and purple furry boots that I wear.
Andraya Yearwood says even as a child, she identified as a girl.
Learn to I guess, deal with it and I guess grow tougher skin.
Yearwood is a sophomore at Cromwell High School. Born a boy, she's now transitioning and runs track and field on the girls' team. She and Bulkley High School sophomore Terry Miller swept the competition at the girls' track and field state championships last week. Miller is also transgender. Some parents and athletes say the first and second place finishers have an unfair advantage, and they want a level playing field. The Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Committee says their policy is that student athletes can compete for the gender-specific sport they identify with. That's directly in alignment with state law. But two petitions are now circulating, one in Plainville, the other in Glastonbury, to change that rule.
You have certain people that believe that, men are stronger and faster, and so I can understand that if an athlete is born male, and then competing as female with what they identify with, that some females will feel a particular type of way about it.
Some say reversing the rule would be gender discrimination.
Identify herself as a girl, then I think she should be able to run in the race because she can use the ladies' room, she can wear skirts. Why not run and play sports and stay active?
The cream rises to the top.
No matter if you're a boy or girl.
Correct. There are plenty of athletes now that can tell you, if you were to put the UConn women on the court with the UConn men actually might lose.
The CIAC saying they are listening and empathize, but this is an extremely complex legal issue with multiple layers. Yearwood, grateful for the opportunity to be exactly who she says she's always been.
Extremely grateful because I've heard of stories where some people, I guess they'll get the same opportunity as me and have had to go through really hard times.
The CIAC says this policy has been in place for about a decade. They say so far, no signatures or petitions have come to their desks. Live in News 8 Control, Amy Hudak, News 8.